Hello everyone. Welcome back to English Weaver. Today we're exploring New Year, New You, focusing on how to talk about your resolutions in English. We'll go step by step to make your English practice clear, simple, and enjoyable. It is so good to be chatting with you again. I just love this time of year.
Me too. There's just something in the air, isn't there?
Totally. It feels like a clean slate, like
Yeah,
anything is possible.
exactly.
Yeah.
A fresh start. So how are you doing? Ready to get into it?
I am doing great, and I am so ready. I think this is a topic everyone can relate to.
For sure. It's that universal conversation starter every single January.
It really is.
Yeah,
And before we jump in, we just wanted to say how much we appreciate all of you listening.
we really do.
If you enjoy these conversations, please think about subscribing or liking or maybe even sharing the show.
It helps us so much.
Thank you so much to everyone. Okay, so let's talk about that big phrase, New Year, New You. To you, what does that really mean? Does it feel like this big, inspiring chance for a change, or does it feel more like, I don't know, a ton of social pressure?
That is the big question, isn't it? I think it's a mix of both, honestly.
Mhm.
On one hand, you have that fresh start feeling, which is very real. It's like the calendar gives you permission to leave your old mistakes behind.
Right, like that was last year's problem.
Exactly. But on the other hand, the new you part can feel huge. Like you're supposed to become a completely different person overnight.
Oh, I've definitely felt that. I have a funny memory of one year where my resolution was to learn French, run a marathon, and become a minimalist all at once.
Oh, wow. How did that go?
It crashed and burned by about January 15th. It was just too much. The pressure was real.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
I remember one year I felt so overwhelmed by the idea of making these massive changes. I just felt frozen.
So what did you do?
Well, more recently, my approach has been to forget the dramatic overhaul. I just focus on one or two really small, manageable things. Instead of a new me, it's more like a slightly upgraded or, a more intentional me. It feels so much better.
I love that. A more intentional you. That leads me to a question. Do you think the timing of January 1st is actually necessary? Or can we start a new me anytime?
Logically, we can start anytime. A random Tuesday in April could be your new beginning. But there is something powerful about a collective start. Knowing that millions of other people are also trying to improve at the same time, it creates this sort of shared energy.
A kind of momentum.
Exactly. It makes your personal goal feel like it's part of something bigger. But a personal date, like your birthday or the anniversary of something important, can be just as powerful, maybe even more so, because it has that emotional weight for you.
That makes sense. The collective energy versus the personal emotional energy. So thinking about those small manageable changes you mentioned, what's the smallest goal you've ever set that actually led to a big change down the line?
Oh, that's a good one. A couple of years ago, I felt like I was just wasting so much time on my phone at night.
I think we all feel that.
For sure. So my resolution wasn't some big I'll meditate for an hour thing. It was just to plug my phone in to charge across the room instead of next to my bed.
That's it. Just moving the charger.
That was it. But it was a game changer. Because I couldn't just roll over and start scrolling, I actually started reading books again. And my sleep quality improved so much. That tiny little change had this huge ripple effect on my evenings and my mornings. It was amazing.
That is an amazing story. It's all about adding a little bit of friction to the bad habit.
Exactly. Sometimes it's about making the good choice the easier choice.
But what happens when you slip up? We all do. How do you manage that feeling of disappointment if you break a goal, say, in the first week of the year?
The classic January 5th failure. It's the most critical moment. The key is to not see it as a total failure. It's just a data point.
A data point? What do you mean?
It's information. Maybe the goal was a little too ambitious, or maybe you just had a really tough day. The best advice I've ever heard is the 2-day rule.
Okay, I'm listening.
You can miss one day, but you are not allowed to miss 2 days in a row. It builds in forgiveness, but also ensures you get right back to it. One slip-up is an accident. 2 is the start of a new, unwanted habit.
I love that. Never miss twice. It's so simple and actionable. It takes all the drama out of it.
It does. It reframes the whole thing from perfection to consistency.
So, are your resolutions always serious, or do you ever set them just for fun?
I think you need a mix. I almost always have a fun one. One year, it was to try one new recipe every single week.
Oh, that's a good one. Did you stick with it?
For the most part, yeah. It made cooking feel like an adventure instead of a chore. It wasn't about health or saving money, just curiosity and enjoyment. Those fun goals are often the ones that stick the longest because they have that built-in reward.
That makes total sense. We've talked about a few things already, but what's the single best piece of advice you've ever gotten about actually sticking to a new habit?
The best advice was to focus on my identity, not the outcome.
What does that mean?
So instead of saying, my goal is to run 3 times a week, you tell yourself, I am a person who is active, or I am a runner. It's a small shift in language, but it's huge psychologically. You stop negotiating with yourself about whether you feel like running. You just do it because that's who you are. The action becomes an extension of your identity.
Wow. That's a profound shift. It takes the decision-making and the willpower out of the equation almost entirely.
It really does. The behavior just becomes a natural part of being you.
Okay, this is so interesting. Let's shift a little bit to the language we use.
Sure.
When you decide on a goal, how do you phrase it? Do you use really strong, committed language like, I will absolutely do this, or something softer like, I hope to improve?
Hmm. That's a fantastic question because the words we choose really matter. I used to be all about that strong, absolute language.
Me too. I thought it showed commitment.
Right. But it's actually a trap. The moment you slip up, and you will, that absolute language makes you feel like the whole resolution is broken. So now I try to focus my language on the process and on consistency. Something clear and measurable, but not so rigid.
Could you give me an example?
Of course. So a few years back, I had this very detailed goal. I will write 750 words every single morning before I check my email, 5 days a week.
That sounds super specific and, well, very ambitious.
It was. And it felt like a huge weight. I dreaded it. It failed because the language was too restrictive. It felt like a punishment.
So what's a better way you've found?
A better way, I think, is to link a new habit to an existing one. It's a method called implementation intentions.
Oh, tell me more.
So instead of a vague goal like, I'll be more organized, you'd say, when I finish my morning coffee, I will spend 10 minutes tidying my desk.
Ah, I see. So you're connecting the new desired action to something you already do automatically.
Exactly. It's like building a little bridge for your brain. It takes away the guesswork of when you're going to do the thing. It becomes almost automatic after a while. I had a goal to read more, and the language that worked was, after I get into bed, I will read for at least 5 minutes. It worked so well.
That clarity is everything. I once set a resolution to just be healthier.
Oh, that's a classic vague one.
Total disaster. I had no idea what it meant day to day. Did it mean eating a salad, going for a walk? I spent more time wondering what to do than actually doing anything. It just fizzled out.
And that's why clarity is so important. A simple, clear goal, like I will go for a 20-minute walk during my lunch break, is 1,000 times more powerful than be healthier.
So true. When you write down a goal, do you also write down why you want to achieve it?
Oh, absolutely. The why is your fuel. It's what you come back to on the days you have zero motivation.
The emotional anchor.
Yes. If your goal is to save money, the why isn't just to have more money. It's so I can feel secure, or so I can take my family on a beautiful vacation. When you feel tempted to spend, you remember that feeling, that why, and it makes the choice easier.
That's a great point. It connects the daily grind to the bigger picture. So we see the same kinds of resolutions pop up every year. Health, money, learning a new skill. Have you ever set a resolution that was about completely stopping a habit? And how did you talk about that challenge?
Yes, and stopping something is psychologically so much harder than starting something.
Mm-hmm.
The language of don't or quit or stop just makes you think about the thing more.
Like, don't think of a pink elephant.
Exactly. So the trick is to reframe it as a positive. Instead of, I will stop eating junk food, you could say, I will nourish my body with healthy, delicious meals.
So you're focusing on what you're gaining, not what you're losing.
Precisely. The language shifts from deprivation to empowerment. When I decided to cut back on impulse shopping, I didn't say I'm on a shopping ban. I told myself, I am becoming a more conscious consumer who invests in quality pieces. It felt good, not restrictive.
I love that linguistic hack. It changes the whole feeling around the goal. Okay, here's a fun one. If you had to pick a single theme word for the year, instead of a long resolution, what would it be?
Oh, I love this exercise. I've done this the last couple of years. I think for this coming year,
Yeah?
my word would be consistency.
Consistency. I like that.
Yeah, it's not about being perfect or intense. It's just about showing up again and again in a small way. For me, that feels much more achievable than, transformation.
That's a great one. I think mine would be simplify.
Ooh, I like that too. In what way?
Just in every way. Simplify my schedule, my home, my commitments. To focus on what really matters instead of trying to do everything, it feels calming just saying it.
It does. A single word can be a really powerful guide.
Speaking of words, what do you think is the difference between a resolution and a goal? Do you see them as the same thing?
That's a great question, and I think they're different. A goal, to me, is finite. It has a clear finish line. Run a 5K race.
Yeah.
You do it, and it's done. Check.
Okay.
But a resolution is more of a direction. It's an ongoing practice. You don't finish being a patient person or complete being financially responsible. It's a continuous commitment to a way of being. The goals are the small steps you take in service of the larger resolution.
That's a really clear and useful distinction. The resolution is the identity, and the goals are the actions that prove it.
You got it.
This brings us to, I think, the trickiest part of all of this, the social part.
Ah, yes. To share or not to share.
Exactly. Do you find it helpful to tell people about your resolutions, or do you prefer to keep them private until you've made some progress?
I used to be a big sharer. I thought telling everyone would create this external pressure that would keep me on track.
The accountability factor.
Right. But it can actually backfire. Sometimes just announcing your big goal gives you a little bit of the satisfaction of having already achieved it. Your brain gets a reward, and then your motivation to do the actual hard work, it just dips.
I have totally experienced that. I once told a friend I was going to write a book, and the conversation we had about it was so exciting that I felt like I'd already done something.
And did you write the book?
I wrote about 3 pages. The initial excitement just fizzled out after I'd talked it out.
See, it's a real phenomenon. And the other risk is getting unhelpful feedback. I once shared a small goal of wanting to start jogging. And a friend who's a serious marathon runner just overwhelmed me with a professional training plan and a list of expensive gear I had to buy.
Oh, no.
It made my small, simple goal feel completely inadequate before I even started. I felt so intimidated that I just didn't.
That is the worst. So what's the solution? Just keep everything a secret.
Not necessarily. I
No?
think the key is to be very selective about who you tell. An accountability partner can be amazing, but you have to choose the right person.
And what does that right person look like?
It's someone who knows how to listen and encourage, not advise or judge. Someone who asks about the process, not just the results. Instead of, did you hit your target today? They'll ask, how did your run feel today? Or what was the most interesting part of what you learned? They show curiosity about your journey.
That changes the whole dynamic. It's a supportive check-in, not a performance review.
Yes. It makes you feel like you're in it together, even if they're not doing the same goal. It's about support, not policing.
Okay, so let's say you haven't made much progress. It's April, and someone asks you how your resolution is going. How do you answer that politely without feeling like a failure?
That's a great scenario. I think the key is to answer with confidence and reframe it. You can say something like, that's a great question. I've actually decided to pivot my focus for now, but I learned a lot from trying it.
Oh, that's good. It sounds intentional.
Exactly. Or I hit a few roadblocks, so I've put it on pause while I rethink my approach. It shows that you're still in control. You're just being strategic. No need to say I failed.
That's such a graceful way to handle it. Do you think you use different language when sharing goals with close friends versus, say, colleagues at work?
Oh, 100%. With a close friend, I am more likely to be vulnerable and talk about the struggle. Waking up early has been so hard this week. But with a colleague, I'd keep it much more professional and outcome-focused. Something like, my goal for this quarter is to get certified in that new software. It's about the professional benefit, not the personal journey.
That makes sense. The context is completely different. Thinking about encouragement. What's the most encouraging thing someone has ever said to you about a goal you were working on?
The most encouraging thing was when I was feeling really frustrated with learning a new skill. I felt like I wasn't making any progress. And a friend said to me, the result doesn't matter right now. The fact that you keep showing up, even when it's hard, is the real win. You're building discipline, and that's the school that will last.
Wow, that's powerful.
It totally shifted my perspective. It made me feel proud of my effort, not ashamed of my slow progress. It validated the hard work that nobody else sees.
Valuing the process over the outcome. That's a theme that keeps coming up.
It's the whole secret, I think.
Okay, let's flip it. How do you respond when someone shares a resolution with you that you think is, well, completely impossible? Like, I'm going to go from 0 to running a marathon in 1 month.
That's a delicate situation.
Yeah.
You don't want to crush their dream, but you also don't want to enable a disaster. I think the best approach is to ask gentle, curious questions about their plan. Wow, that's so ambitious. I love it. What does your training plan for week 1 look like?
So you're focusing them on the practical steps.
Exactly. Or, that's a huge goal. What resources are you using to make sure you stay healthy and avoid injury? It prompts them to think through the logistics themselves, which often leads them to adjust the goal to be more realistic without you ever having to say, that's a bad idea.
That is such a smart and kind way to handle it. You're being supportive of their ambition while guiding them toward practicality.
It's all about helping them think it through.
Have you ever made a resolution with someone, like a joint goal?
Yes. My partner and I once did a no takeout for a month challenge to save money. And it was so much more effective than doing it alone
Oh, so.
because it became a team effort. The language was always we. What should we make for dinner? How can we prep for the week ahead? When one of us had a weak moment, the other was there for support. It wasn't about blame. It was about collaborative problem solving.
You had a built-in support system. That sounds amazing.
It was. The shared accountability makes a huge difference.
Okay, one last question on this. Let's say you did it. You achieved a huge goal. How do you share that success without sounding like you're bragging?
That's another great one. I think the key is to share the journey, not just the trophy. So instead of just saying, I ran a marathon, you could say, I finally finished that marathon I was training for. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I learned so much about consistency along the way.
So you're highlighting the struggle and the lesson.
Yes, it makes it relatable. You're sharing what you learned from the process, which is inspiring to other people, rather than just celebrating your own victory.
It makes the achievement feel generous instead of boastful.
I really like that. Share the lesson, not just the win.
Exactly.
Well, just before we wrap up, I'm thinking about something you mentioned earlier, that feeling when motivation starts to dip.
Yes. The great February fade. It's a real thing. Enthusiasm is high in January, but it naturally wanes.
It really does. And I think just knowing that it's normal and expected is half the battle.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel guilty when your motivation isn't at a 10 out of 10.
Right. And there's a really simple phrase I've learned to use when I fall off track, whether it's for a day or a week.
What is it?
I just tell myself, okay, I'm back on track.
That's it.
That's it. It's simple, it's positive, and there's no judgment. It acknowledges the pause, but the focus is immediately on moving forward again. It's the language of a fresh start, available any day of the year. I'm back on track. I love how simple and powerful that is. This has been such an amazing chat. I feel so much clearer and more motivated about how to think about new goals and habits.
Me too. It's been great to talk through all the different layers of it.
To everyone listening, we hope this conversation has given you some helpful ideas for your own journey. We'd love for you to think about what you heard today. Maybe you have a theme word for the year, or maybe there's a past resolution you're really proud of achieving.
We always love hearing your thoughts and experiences. It's how we all learn.
Thank you so much for joining our chat today and spending your time with us.
And remember that consistency is key. Keep practicing and reflecting on these ideas in your daily life.
We'll be back soon with more conversations to explore.
And if you found this useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe share it with a friend who might enjoy it too.
And one final thought to leave you with. If everyone's motivation dips in February, what if the most powerful time to start a major goal isn't January 1st at all? What if it's March 1st, when all the noise has died down and you can focus entirely on your own path? Something to think about. Goodbye, everyone.
Farewell for now.
Talk to you next time.
See you soon.